My name is Nathan James. I'm an author, advocate, and theatrical producer. I believe that there is a direct relationship between depression in gay men of color and the society in which we live, its institutions, how we're brought up by our families, and how we experience homophobia when we become adults and have to deal with the prejudices of the people we meet in all areas of people activity, in work, in religious activities, in social settings, in familial relationships. And I think that the causes of depression in gay men of color can be traced directly back to the behavior of society towards those it finds easy to hate, easy to discriminate against, easy to look down upon. I further believe that depression in gay men of color is a problem which is not often treated in a timely or appropriate manner, because the healthcare system and the mental health profession, which exists to treat depression in people across the board, has a strong tendency to be heteronormative and to be hostile towards the LGBT population. This was brought out in New York City's own report that was commissioned by the public advocate. Depression utterly kills creativity. It makes it very, very difficult, if not impossible, to pursue creative projects or to express oneself artistically. And the tragedy here is that there are so many gifted, wonderfully creative, artistic people in our LGBT community who cannot bring their talents to fruition because they are struggling with the challenges of depression and how to survive in today's very homophobic society. I know from my own experience in the theater, in the literary community, in expressing my own opinions and my own forms of art, that it is difficult to realize the dreams and goals and aspirations of my creative self if I am also struggling with depression and feelings that I am worthless or less than, or that my self-esteem is being slowly squashed into the ground by those who have a psychological need to feel better than me. I also believe that the problem of depression in gay men of color is exacerbated by the healthcare system, which has a strong tendency to be heteronormative and in fact sometimes hostile to gay and lesbian patients who come into their care. This has even been demonstrated in a study by the New York City public advocate Betsy Gottbaum, who released a report a couple of years ago detailing some of the experiences that gay and lesbian patients have had in hospitals around New York City. In addition to that, the role of the church is another causative factor for depression in gay men of color, being as it is homophobic in most of its branches. It's quite an appalling experience for a young gay person of color or a young lesbian person of color to come to a house of worship and hear that he or she may not have a relationship with God because of their sexual orientation. I think that, among other things, a gay or lesbian person's self-esteem would take quite a beating in such an environment. And finally, I think that a lot of negative feelings in gay and lesbian people of color is nurtured in the home by our parents, by our older siblings, by our relatives, who have all been raised in a society that demonizes and stigmatizes homosexuality across the board. And all of these things taken together make depression in gay men of color little mystery at all as to why it occurs, why it's so prevalent, and why it continues to be a serious problem in our community today.